Norah is with us from Washington. Norah, quite a shift in relations between these two men who were once very close.
Yeah, and extraordinary, really, to hear from the president's former fixer essentially point the finger directly at the president of the United States. Face the Nation moderator and your senior foreign affairs correspondent, Margaret Brennan, joins us this morning. And Margaret, we were talking about this. Not only do you hear Michael Cohen saying that the president knew about it, he directed it, and that he has given evidence to the special counsel that proves the president directed him to do it. What are the implications for the president?
Knowingly and willfully. These are the two words that we need to focus on. This is something that the president says he did not sign off on, didn't know about it, just his legal counsel sort of freelancing. The reporting that is significant from the Wall Street Journal in the past few days that puts David Pecker, the publisher of the National Enquirer, in the room with President Trump when all this was being discussed, that's why it matters. That's knowingly, that's willfully. Michael Cohen saying here that the president, then candidate, knew that what he was doing was wrong. The defenders of the president...
Sounds like they were colluding to influence the election.
That is right, and that is what President Trump says. That word has no grounding here. What he is also trying to say, and his defenders, are that this is something that the special counsel has kind of gone off the rails. This is beyond his purview, and that if this is, in fact, any kind of crime, it's not a serious enough one to rise to the level. If you also look at some of the defenders of the president, they are now pointing fingers back at the FBI, saying that some of this was entrapment, that the National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, was essentially tricked into lying. So you are already seeing the strategies that are going to be playing out in the new Congress, and we have a Democratic majority here, which is put all of this in partisan terms.
At the same time, the Washington Post is reporting today that Robert Mueller quotes Robert Ray, who is a former special counsel, that this investigation may be coming to a close. It could happen in the first 3 months of 2019. This comes as the White House doesn't have a chief of staff. Who is President Trump looking at?
Well, the president said yesterday he has 5 candidates. That's down from the 10 he said just a few days ago. We were just talking before the show. It's interesting how wide open this is, that one day you have Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, rumored as being under consideration, something CBS has confirmed. The next day you have the man who indicted his father, Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey, being rumored as under consideration.
Rumored, or actually he met with the president
He's
last
been
night.
consulted on the issue, certainly. But right now, what we are seeing is such a wide array of names. What's interesting to have Jared Kushner here is I think this emphasizes, while he may not ultimately get the job, this is the pinnacle of his influence in Washington. He's been on a streak. He has forced this criminal justice reform bill, something traditionally supported by more liberal members or libertarian members, on the Republican leadership that was very reluctant to even consider putting this bill to a vote. He won that argument. Isn't law yet, but at least he won that. That shows some influence and sway in dealing with Capitol Hill. Feather in his cap. And he just was honored by the Mexican government for helping to save this free trade deal. So for those who say he's a newbie, he doesn't know Washington, he now seems to be asserting himself in ways that are material. It's not just whispering in the president's ear.
All right, Margaret Brennan, thank you so much. And we'll see you Sunday morning again on Face the Nation. Right now, let's send it back to New York.
All right, we'll look forward to Face the Nation. It's interesting what they were saying about the speculation about chief of staff. I did an interview with Eric Trump that first week, right before the inauguration, and I said, what's going to be the hardest thing you think for your dad? And he said, letting new people in. Our family is very close, and it's very difficult to let new people in. So if Jared Kushner gets that job, that would be evidence of how they really like to keep everything very close to the family.
He's have a lot on his plate. 3 big things: re-election in 2020, dealing with the Democrats on trying to get anything actually done in Washington, and then, of course, the mounting legal challenges to the president, both from the special counsel, the Southern District of New York, and the Democrats investigating. The chief of staff will be spinning plates all day long.
And going back to your point, Gayle, throughout the campaign, he was his closest advisor, no doubt.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a big parlor game in Washington. We'll see.